Hello and welcome to the third ever episode of the Moviebusters podcast. Again we had a poll for what film we chose this week, and this week the vague theme was directorial debuts. My choice was Layer Cake, directed by Matthew Vaughn. Jack's choice was
American Beauty, directed by Sam Mendes.
And Dave, #Dave wins, I guess.
Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino.
You won.
I'd like to bring up a bit of backstory to this, by the way, to this poll, to the saltiness again of these two individuals. When we were talking about
salt on my behalf.
When we were talking about doing the next podcast, we were going to do the third in the trilogy.
Yeah.
And Jack pretty much claimed that one and said, like, oh, I'm going to do Godfather 3, because he wanted to go for the win.
No, I do like the Godfather 3.
Well,
I do actually like
my saltiness story. So I then said A New Hope. I said Return of the Jedi. And suddenly it was directorial debuts. And you were going to go for, was it Eraserhead?
Right, yeah, let's add a bit more backstory again then. So I found it really difficult to choose a directional debut.
I always chose Eraserhead as well.
Yeah, I mean, my three were Eraserhead, Mad Max, and then probably American Beauty. I mean, there was nothing else I really wanted to talk about. So I like the fact that you and I, because I didn't think anyone would go for Layer Cake, purely because...
it's not something you think of when you think of a directorial debut, do you? Like,
yeah, and I do like that. I do like all three films.
I do like... I like two of the films.
All right, mate.
Surprisingly enough, this is the film I don't really like, but I will talk about that later. So yeah, the directional debuts for me was really difficult to do. The only reason why I want to do third part in a trilogy because
it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, they're recognised to be not very good. I mean, can you name the third film? I mean, it's quite difficult to do, but
Ghostbusters 3.
I don't know what you're talking about because that doesn't exist in my head. I mean, the only ones are Back to the Future Part 3's okay. I think
the Lord of the Rings
okay.
trilogy.
That's probably a stellar one, yeah.
Yeah, Return of the King. Star Wars. This is obviously controversial, but the third of the prequels is the best of the prequels.
Oh yeah, I like Revenge of the Sith. I
wouldn't say it's brilliant.
I would argue it. I would argue the fact that it's quite a good film. I'll give it 8 out of 10.
I wouldn't say
8 out of 10 for Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, I would do.
Sorry, what was it again?
Revenge of the Sith.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's brilliant. I would say it's one of very few cases where the third film was the best of the trilogy.
But then again,
Jack just gave it an 8 out of 10, Rob.
Yeah,
I did give it an 8 out of 10, yeah. And if you want to come at me on Twitter, do, because I will defend it to my life. Also, I'm going to say it now, I like Matrix Revolutions. Go over it. I really do. I think it's probably...
Jack Luke Sharp, please.
It's one of my favourites of the
Please,
trilogy.
send as much hate mail to his Twitter as
You can
possible.
do all you want, because at the end of the day, I'll back it up with my claims. I don't really like Mad Max Thunderdome, so that wouldn't be in it, because that film has got Tina Turner in it, and in a leotard outfit, which... to me, is just like can almost ruin someone's childhood. Godfather Part 3 would have been my personal choice because I do actually like the film. I have the box set, Paramount Pictures box set on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll get it out for you in the break and I'll show you the box set because it's huge.
Okay.
I paid £175 for this box set.
Jesus.
It is a white box, bigger than, I'm probably going to say, a record player. It has the full annotated script by Francis Ford Coppola in it. The Blu-ray's in a special restored condition, but that'll probably be a different progress. If you want me to upload it to YouTube, I will do it, no problem with that. But going back onto...
Sorry, what? Oh, okay, is that over
Jack
Luke Sharp's Blu-ray collection?
Yeah, so going
let's
back...
move on to Reservoir Dogs, because, I mean, I've proven that you are salty. You just did a 3-minute thing.
It's not a rant.
Should we talk about our choices first before we move on to
I want to know. I know why someone picked it, because I to me, picking Layer Cake to go to Rob's is a very strange choice to me, because that would not be, like I've said a little bit before, my automatic choice for any director.
Definitely not to Matthew Vaughn either, because it's not really a directorial debut for him, technically, because he worked in a lot of production. He worked on production for Lockstock, he worked on production for...
Well, I'll just like to say this
producer.
again then. I think that is the same reason why Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. But continue.
Yeah, I chose Layer Cake personally because I think it's his best film.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
I mean, you might want to probably, if not people are very fond of it or don't know much about Layer Cake. Layer Cake was the Bond film that Daniel Craig technically starred in before.
I think that's how he got the job.
That's how he got the role.
It's almost an audition tape.
Even though quite a lot of the movie Layer Cake, he doesn't like guns. He doesn't hold guns. He uses a gun once.
It's more about drugs, isn't it? But
long live the king. Yeah, it's very good. It's very, very, very good. One of the best films I watched last year.
You only watched it last year?
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
12 years old.
There's a lot of films I watched last year. I was kind of my 365 and 365 and that, so there's a lot of kind of like iconic kind of films that I kind of went through.
Well, I mean, I watched it when I was quite young. I think I watched it about maybe 2 years after it came out, and my family really liked that film. It's a really good film. I think it's a really good British sort of classic cape that never got the recognition it deserved.
Yeah,
probably Matthew Vaughn's best film if you think about reality-based,
Overall
sort
story
of
as well.
grounded, yeah. I mean, I have the first wave on the Sony release, and it's quite good. I don't really have much to say about it. I like the performances. I really like Michael Gambon in it. I think he's really good in it.
I think what's interesting as well with Matthew Vaughn is a lot of his stuff now is taken from other work, which he's adapted.
But then,
whereas Layer Cake isn't, is it?
No. Layer Cake is I think it's an original screenplay. They never state Daniel Craig's real name in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to make they are making a sequel to it, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because spoilers. You don't know if he actually dies at the end, do you?
No, you meant to believe like he goes down that path, but I think he's got it's like a clubhouse. I mean, at the end, it's got the first sort of major role for Tom Hardy in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ben Whishaw, who he then played Q in the Bond series, Sam Mendes directed.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting look at the characters in it because it has Bern Gorman, who's in the Pacific Rim, and Crimson Peak. It's got quite a few characters, and Dexter Fletcher's in there as well. They've all got this sort of Britishness to it, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, so a big reason I kind of went for it really is that Matthew Vaughn, as a director, he's kind of really honing his name as a director now, and he's very well known for being able to adapt things and make them very, like X-Men First Class, he completely revitalised the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then again with Kingsman as well, which was adapted from a graphic novel, that was an excellent film. And that's what kind of brought me to watching...
Kick-Ass as well, Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that's what brought me to watching the rest of his filmography that I hadn't seen, so Layer Cake and... I've forgotten what else.
Really? You saw Kick-Ass and...
I'd seen Kick-Ass and I'd seen...
Before you'd watched
Kingsman.
Layer Cake. I find that very interesting.
It's a very strange way to look at it. It's
What about Stardust?
Yeah, I'd seen Stardust.
I think Stardust is his misfire.
It's not even entirely a bad film, though.
Adam Fogerty, who we brought up a few episodes ago. No, we didn't. Adam Fogerty, who plays one of Robert De Niro's pirate men. I know him. Met him. Thank you. Continue.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Very interesting.
I think I'd watched... cheers, Jack. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, cheers.
Thanks.
That's just my little role in the industry, that's all.
Hashtag Jack Facts.
Hashtag Jack Facts with Jack.
Yeah, my Jack hasn't got C in it, so we'll just clarify that right now.
We're not going to get that trending.
No,
Hashtag never trust Jack.
Trend.
We'll get that trending. I'd watched Layer Cake before I'd watched any of the other films. I watched Stardust with I think probably one of my mum or my sister, but I didn't really enjoy it.
I don't think it's.
I think when I watched Kick-Ass and I watched Kingsman, the only problem I had with Kingsman was people give Bourne, the Bourne series, a lot of shit for the shaky cam fights, but that film is built on that shit, which I didn't really like because I don't think anyone's actually given that anything. It hasn't come out and said the fight scenes in Kick-Ass and that because they're very similar with the little girl in Kick-Ass.
But there is the fight scene in the church is very becoming iconic.
I think that's very good. I think I don't want to come out and say that, but was it one shot? They said maybe. I don't think it is one shot because I think
one shot is edited in a way that it's made to look like it's one shot.
I think it.
I mean, another interesting fact about Matthew Vaughn is that he chose to do Kingsman in a crowded year of spy films such as Spy, Mission Impossible, James Bond.
And he came out on top, didn't it?
And he came out on... I don't know about that, but I think Mission Impossible is a stellar film. But he turned down the offer to do Star Wars The Force Awakens. And that really interested me, because I wonder if he would have taken the... Because he said he had to do Kingsman, he had to make that film.
He's making a sequel, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, but
it's been announced.
He did Kick-Ass and didn't do Kick-Ass 2 because of what he was doing with Star Wars or the X-Men franchise.
Kick-Ass 2 completely flopped. Well,
I think I might have got this mistaken, but was Matthew Vaughn going to do Ant-Man?
No, that's Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright.
One, okay.
Well, Matthew Vaughn was at one time pressured was going to do Star Wars, and turned it and obviously it's left production of X-Men: Days of Future Past, the sequel to his First Class. Which came good reviews. It got Bryan Singer back on track. It's got that franchise now.
I was happy with Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I quite like it. I think it's one of the best comic book adaptations there is.
It's got a very good cast as well. Fassbender and...
So, Matthew Vaughn's a stellar director. He came from a producer. My reason by Sam Mendes is because I think Sam Mendes has taken a very similar route. The both first films are very grounded in this sort of slow, really nicely filmed, beautiful stories. Layer Cake is technically a beautiful story. It's just a very interesting look at the drugs culture in England, but not with the druggies like train spotting. It's a higher class.
Cocaine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's glamorised.
Cocaine?
I think it's everything. It's a bit of everything.
I think he said I'm a drug dealer, but I specialise in cocaine.
Yeah, they all do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so Sam Mendes is American Beauty. Sam Mendes hasn't made that many films. American Beauty, Revolutionary Road. Skyfall and Spectre.
What a debut for a director, American Beauty.
Well,
Jesus.
American Beauty. Well, Sam Mendes comes from theatre work. He directed a load of stage plays. I mean, he wasn't going to do Spectre for then doing Willy Wonka. So Barbara Bacala, the producer of the franchise of James Bond, actually stopped production on Spectre going in for quite a while, so he could finish the commitments there. So I mean, it's a Paramount Pictures production, but you wouldn't know it because it's a DreamWorks. Now Steven Spielberg owns DreamWorks or runs the company to some degree. I mean, a lot of films he makes go to DreamWorks banner, like Catch Me If You Can. So Steven Spielberg was going to make this film for a long, long time.
Okay.
Then opted out to make AI for Stanley Kubrick instead.
I couldn't see it as a Spielberg film.
No, because I think Kubrick Spielberg makes fairy tales to the point where everything has to come full circle. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's got that. I mean, in every single.
It's not really just spectacular, which Spielberg goes for.
No, because I think Spielberg can do not spectacular at Munich, but I think Spielberg has some sort of genre conventions like the father in Schindler's List, the fathers in mainly throughout his filmography, Jaws and stuff. There's always a detachment of the father, and there's obviously the child. And in American Beauty, it has got that drama conventions. But I think Sam Mendes, who is theatre work, slows the pace down beautifully. But I mean, Sam Mendes sort of went off. No, it didn't go off the rails. But Revolutionary Road was mixed reviews. I think it's a really slow film. I think the ending's so abrupt and so quite distraught. I won't ruin it for anyone because
I still haven't seen it, even though
I won't ruin it.
We went to screen it as well.
Yeah, I won't ruin it for anyone. So it's quite an abrupt ending, and then I think he made a few, one or two in between. I mean, he made Jarhead, which is a really interesting film to make after American Beauty.
They made quite a lot of Jarheads, didn't they? I think they made a sequel.
They've made 3, so there's 2 direct sequels, which is shit.
I haven't watched those.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal's fantastic in that film. And then obviously he went into Skyfall, which I quite like because it's bringing back the British sort of element to James Bond.
Yeah.
And then he made Spectre, which is mixed reviews, but I mean...
Still haven't seen it.
I've got Spectre on Blu-ray.
I think Skyfall is by far the superior film, personally.
I think they go together quite well, but they're 2 drastically different James Bond pictures.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked Sam Mendes, because I like his filmography and I like the guy.
I think it's interesting as well, because with theatre, people who come from theatre and go into directing...
Like Roman Polanski, for
example. A lot of people who go into theatre and go into directing, it's been said... Like throughout our course, a lot of them will either sink or they'll swim in that environment. And it's interesting that Sam Mendes got straight into his debut and
such a good film to debut as well. Right?
Yeah.
American Beauty is such a good film.
Did it win an Oscar?
Well, I'll just have a look now. I mean, it's got a really good cast as well. Stellar cast.
Nominated.
Kevin Spacey.
Laura
Birch.
Yeah.
In the first role, really.
Annette Bening's in it, she's a really good actress in it. It has got a really nice rounded cast. I mean, for example, I really do like Wes Bentley in that film. I mean, Chris Cooper is also in Jarheads in it.
Yeah. Speaking of Jarheads.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously the Big Lebowski. We've got a connection with the American Pie series because Mina Savari's in this film, who plays the daughter's best friend, who Kevin Spacey sort of attaches himself to. It won 5 Oscars.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Best Picture.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh wow!
That is a fucking good debut.
Wow!
Yeah,
did you not know that?
No, but Kevin Spacey won an Oscar for it.
Yeah, did you not know that?
No.
So
best director,
best
actor, best director, best picture, best writing screenplay, best cinematographer. I must admit, the cinematography isn't actually done by Roger Deakins. Because Roger Deakins is a Sam Mendes regular with a Skyfall. It's actually done by Conrad L. Hall, who then did Road to Perdition. Now, Road to Perdition is one film in Sam Mendes' career, which is in between Jarhead and in between American Beauty. And I absolutely adore Road to Perdition. It's one of my favourite. It stars Tom Hanks and it stars Jude Law. It's one of my favourite films of all time. It's a gangster prohibition story, and it also stars Daniel Craig, weirdly enough, who plays a sort of esque villain in it. Road to Perdition is beautifully shot by Conrad Hall, and there's a documentary on that Blu-ray, which I've got, which I would employ anyone to go out and buy that now. And it's absolutely stunning. There's a scene where Paul Newman is one of my favourite actors, obviously Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid of fame. Paul Newman, there's a scene what happens to Paul Newman. And Tom Hanks it's a difficult scene to watch, obviously, because Paul Newman is a little bit ill at that point. He died a few years later after Cars came out, unfortunately. So there's a scene where Tom Hanks has to do something, and it's pouring down. Rain. I mean, it's so beautifully to watch. The music by I believe it's Thomas Newman. Ghosts comes on, and it's pouring down, and Tom Hanks is killing these guys next to Paul Newman. of a gun, and it's raining, and all this the sound, non-diegetic sound comes up, so we can just hear the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And every individual raindrop you can see. It's fascinating. And he comes up, and Tom Hanks is next to him. There's a monologue. I won't ruin it for anyone who wants to watch it, because I would love you to watch it. There's something happens in this scene that almost like it's one of them films where it tears me up.
Oh, yeah.
Always tears me up. But that's why I love Sam Mendes. I think he's a really good director. But going on to the actual film in question,
finally,
Reservoir Dogs. Don't say finally. I've got a lot of good.
I think we had a very good
amazing.
Conversation there, Rob. I feel like you're rushing the podcast.
You ruined it.
You've ruined it. Let's get rid of it. No, I'm just kidding. Quentin Tarantino's debut.
Makes me cringe.
Reservoir
Makes
Dogs.
me cringe on.
Mate, we all sat back and listened to why you picked this film.
I can't.
Reservoir Dogs is Quentin Tarantino's first film. I don't think it won any Oscars.
No, it didn't.
It won quite a lot of other awards.
I think it did well at Cannes. Did well at Palme d'Or.
Quite a lot. I think 9 wins, 14 nominees.
That's an interesting fact.
Decent. I'll have to double check that actually.
Get your phone back up.
Let's get the phone back up.
All I will say is I think it's got an absolute stellar cast for a directional debut. Yeah, again, I mean,
how he got all those people together for his first film.
9 wins, 15 nominations. I should say.
Give you facts about how he got that cast together?
I won't talk about it.
You won't talk about it?
I don't like the bloke. I'll say this right now. I've got a very, very, very mixed relationship with the director Quentin Tarantino. And this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to say this right now so both of you can listen.
Go on.
I think that when people watch film and they have no idea about film, they will automatically suggest that Quentin Tarantino is their favourite director.
Oh, shit,
you talk to someone and they said Tarantino's my favourite director, don't trust them, because they don't know what film is.
I understand. Yeah, I can understand that.
There's a lot of people at university who'll turn around and say, Francis Tuas is my favourite director, David Lynch is my favourite director, Kubrick's my favourite director, Paul Thomas is one of mine, and Martin Scorsese is one of mine. You'll hear these names floating out. Once in a while, you'll hear Tarantino's name come up, and it's an absolute bastard of a thing to hear, because Tarantino does not deserve any credit for filmmaking he's done. He's a good director of his cinematography, and he's a good director of the script. He's a very good screenwriter. He's a beautiful writer. Other than that, the man hasn't got anything in his bag. Rant over. Continue.
Okay, let's just put a podcast in a very fucking dark mood now.
I think going back to Reservoir Dogs after Jack's rant. Obviously, very, very some famous scenes. Remade in 2011. Reservoir Cats.
Really?
It was.
By Tarantino?
No.
It was
one notable difference was all female cast.
Oh, I think you could have.
2011.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just an interesting fact. But should we move on to positives, Jack? Jack.
Do you have any positives about the film, Jack?
Would you like to talk?
I'll tell you what, why don't we talk about plot first? Because we'll talk about how much there isn't there. Okay, like this.
I saw the script and the film as a kind of comment on trust, but also like obedience and how those two kind of things kind of interlock and cross over a lot of the time. And that was a kind of big kind of point of like the relationships between the characters. But it's also at the same time, I think the script isn't as tight a script whatsoever. I think definitely what is it? It's Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel.
Yeah,
really good actor.
Really good actor.
Yeah.
But I thought his character was one of the
Tarantino.
weakest in this film, personally.
Really? Wow. So what I saw the plot was as some kind of heist movie, but without the actual heist.
Which is interesting.
Because it's not really that much, is it?
It's known to be a heist movie without any heist. Yeah, I mean,
it's more about the never actually see the heist, do you? You just see before fallout. Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's taking it away from what people would normally expect from a film. If you went into it being told, because if you look like read the synopsis, for instance, and it's a group of people going to do a heist, and then they all come and meet at this thing that's gone wrong.
Speaking of which, synopsis for you.
Yeah,
just
if you read the synopsis, which is days what to read out now.
Oh, it's a bit long. After a simple jewellery heist, I'm going with the short one. After a simple jewellery heist goes terribly wrong, the surviving criminals begin to suspect that one of them is a police informant.
So going into that, not knowing anything about Reservoir Dogs, you'd think, I'm going into this. Heist is going to happen. It's going to be very, very interesting. Let's see what actually goes wrong. But it's never actually explicitly shown. It's always just stated between the characters and what they even said. There's even the characters disagreeing in the film about what actually happened. Like Steve Buscemi's character, Mr. Orange, saying, "Oh no, we didn't. The police weren't here at this point. They were here at this point after that happened." And there's always this kind of
Steve Buscemi plays Mr. Pink.
Yeah, it's Mr. Pink even. Yeah, Mr. Pink. Mr. Orange is who plays Mr. Orange?
Tim Roth.
Yeah, Tim Roth. That's it. Yeah. Either way, Mr. Pink says one thing about what happened at the heist, and then Mr. White, he is Mr. White, Harvey Keitel's character, then says, "Oh no, I thought this happened," and it's kind of like the split between us. So so even though we know the heists happened, we don't even know what's actually happened in the heist, which is quite interesting.
That is interesting.
Right, so I'll talk about
the plot, mate.
Right.
Go on, let's give Jack's interpretation of the plot.
I will give credit to him in about a few aspects. I like the fact that they're all called code names. I like the fact that it's Mr. Pink, it's blah blah blah, it's blah blah blah, it's blah blah blah. It gives them sort of individuality when we don't need to know his backstory. We just need to know what's happening now. I also like the fact that he's got so much balls not to show that the actual bank robbery, because ultimately he could have shown the bank robbery and shown the fallout from that. I think it takes utter balls to do that, and I think I praise him for that.
Especially for his first film. Yeah,
I mean the cast again is really stellar. The reason why this film was made because he kept on showing it at Sundance Film Festival with the script, and Terry Gilliam, a director of Time Bandits, 12 Monkeys, of the Monty Python thing, was actually there and got the script going around and gave it to Harvey Keitel. So Harvey Keitel then promised Tarantino that he would get it made. Tarantino at that point had already become an established writer, writing Natural Born Killers and True Romance. True Romance is directed by Tony Scott, who Tarantino adores, and I think that film is probably the closest you'll get to Tarantino without him directing. Yeah. Natural Born Killers is directed by Oliver Stone, and that film is so far apart from what you think Tarantino had wrote about. But Tarantino was then given the choice to direct True Romance or direct Reservoir Dogs, and much as he wanted to do True Romance, he couldn't do it, which I think is a. I think if he'd gone for True Romance, I think it would have been too safe.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I really do like Reservoir Dogs to the point where I can deal with it. I don't like the fact that it's established as an 8.4 rating out of 10, or it's 90-something Metascore. I don't think it's that good. The fact that he's got all these characters in suits, black suits, that's Hong Kong cinema. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like that because it's just, he takes, the thing about Tarantino is he takes aspects of cinema that he loves. Kill Bill, for example, Django, for example, are pre-established things that people have already made and already not got successful by. He puts it in his own films.
Yeah.
And then he gets plaudits for it. The only thing I think Tarantino is an excellent writer and he can pick his music right. This film's a little bit... I do like this film. I watched this film in about 2007.
Yeah.
I went to HMV. I found it. I thought it Reservoir Dogs. I never knew what the name for it. My dad said, "You won't like that. It's shit." I watched it and I did quite enjoy it. But when you start to tear apart Tarantino, you understand there that there's an intelligent man.
Yeah.
But he hasn't ever made a stand. The plot wise, I do really enjoy the characters. I think I don't like the fact that he plays Mr. Brown in it. He
always stars in his own films.
I mean, it's almost as worse as his Australian character in Django Unchained.
Literally, his only lines are, Mr. Brown, that sounds like shit. And then fucking the Dick's analogy at the start. Like,
I mean, that's the aspect I like. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but when they're tipping at the start, and when Steve Buscemi, this is a really interesting thing I don't think you guys know. When Steve Buscemi doesn't tip, who do you think's the first person to write him out?
The guy, Tim Roth.
Yeah, who's a police officer, the undercover police officer.
Yeah, that's part of the thing, isn't it? Like, the first time you watch it, it's quite obvious who the rat is before it's showed, because he's the person who writes him out and he changes his mind to try and fit in with the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Penn, who I really adore. I think Chris Penn is really good in True Romance. He's really good in Rush Hour. Unfortunately, he died a few years ago of a heart attack.
Hour.
Yeah, he's really good in Rush Hour. I think he's really funny in it. His character doesn't say anything at the start.
10 minutes.
Yeah, but he's really good in that.
All right, mate.
I mean, like as I was saying before,
he died? Sorry.
He's dead. Yeah, he's died of a heart attack.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Before I was really interrupted, Chris Penn at the start, when they have the monologue about Madonna, he doesn't say anything because his brother Sean Penn was married to at that point. Okay. I mean, the whole beginning scene is to just showcase what Tarantino can do with a script.
So it's very good. Like,
it's really
analogy.
good.
Like, I really like the opening. It's to the script.
I really like the opening of the film.
Steve Buscemi, he's like, it instantly shows what kind of character he is. How he's got this kind of like, he's high up in his kind of horses.
Yeah, the smallest violin ever played. That's a really beautiful scene.
He's very high up in his horses, and then instantly he's put down by authority and someone who's bigger than him because he's so obedient and he's so trusting to these people, and they have this kind of bond, and like they don't. The fact he gets broken completely shifts it because they have this kind of like respect for this guy, and it all kind of comes crashing down.
Yeah. I mean, the whole analogy about tipping, about giving something back, and that they're going to rob a bank full of people's money.
Yeah,
I think there's a very like stench of irony there. I like the fact that when they go out, it's the iconic scene of the Reservoir Dogs and stuff like that. I quite like that. I don't really like the cinema aspect of the black suits because he's known for that now. It's iconic when it's not even his.
Yeah,
it's iconic, but it's almost cliched, isn't it?
Yeah,
he sort of takes a lot from other cinema.
And I don't like that. I think he
likes his cliches.
I watched a film the other day. Can't remember what it was called, but it was where he got the dance from Pulp Fiction from.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think it's a French film. It was either French or Italian.
I mean, to understand Tarantino is to some aspects a little bit of a fraud.
Yeah,
and I know that's a very big, bold statement, but I can back it up with so many. I mean, look at Django Unchained. I mean, it's such an exploitation of the fact of of African Americans in slavery, and he just turns on its head, and I don't like that. I think it's disgraceful. The Hateful Eight, he's gone back to his roots. He's gone back to the Reservoir Dogs sort of aspect. Pulp Fiction again, too highly rated in my opinion. An amazing film, really well done. Yeah, but he's picked again and again. Jackie Brown's probably one of my favourite films, where he gets his hands on a source material. It's not actually him writing it, and we don't have all this cliche shit. It's really good, well done. Kill Bill, I think that's...
Hated it. I didn't like Kill Bill at all.
Kill Bill, I like Kill Bills. They're really good on high definition. Me and my mom really love Kill Bills because the soundtrack... I mean, it's an empowerment of a woman. Yeah. Uma Thurman in that film is amazing. She can take on any man. It doesn't matter about what sexuality is. It's about that she's a woman fighting against these people.
Do you not see it as like a fetishization of violence, though, in a way? Like,
yeah, but that's all...
Nicholas Winding Refn once said something about violence is a fetish. There's beauty in violence. Yeah. And in films there is. But you've got to be very careful how you sort of portray that on screen. If you go around of a murderer like killing children and there's bloodshed everywhere, is that really a beautiful fetish of violence? But then saying that, how is it Ryan Gosling covered in blood? Yeah. And then you've got to be very careful. So
what's interesting as well,
to the viewer, isn't it, really?
What's interesting as well, with Reservoir Dogs especially, is that the kind of the most gruesome scene where he's cutting his ear off, they cut away, don't they?
He would never been able to get that past censors in America if he wouldn't have done that.
You sure? Because I'm pretty
sure...
In
1992.
In 1992, maybe, yeah.
For a small independent film, God no.
It's his first ever film as well, I remember that.
But I think it's interesting that like he has that scene in there, and it's almost instantly kind of know what Tarantino's all about.
Yeah, it pisses me off that he shoehorns the fact that Michael Madsen's character is actually the brother of Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction. I hate the fact that he does that. Yeah,
there's
why
all
can't he lend
it?
It?
References, isn't there?
Yeah, it just pisses me off with like the Red Apple cigarettes that he's making a world for himself.
Well, that's what he said, isn't it? I think I read something a long time ago that apparently Quentin Tarantino's films are all set in the same universe.
Yeah.
And like the reason all his films are all violent is because of what happened in Inglourious Bastards, saying that that is them killing Hitler in such a brutal way has made it into it. I just find that so egotistical.
I do as well.
Yeah, it's a bit like.
Can you imagine if Martin Scorsese came on tomorrow and went, Wolf of Wall Street's in the same setting as Raging Bull?
Oh God, could you imagine?
I'd just be like, what does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, the fact that characters are named, and their siblings and blah blah blah. I mean, True Romance is connected to Reservoir Dogs, as he says, a woman in Alabama, and she's from Alabama, and she's called something Alabama. It just pisses me off to the fact that
basically what
he's just connecting it all. He's making a small universe. I mean, this guy was a video store clerk. He's got no education in the fact of filmmaking, except for the filmmaking he saw was a video store, and I can't recommend that enough. The fact that he never went to film school, and he might have had lessons a few times, in writing, but his education was films. I mean, it's like Steven Soderbergh said that you don't need to go to film school. Get a film and listen to the audio commentary, listen to the directors. And I employ that because I think that's an excellent sort of backlash to, I mean, what we're doing now, and we're going through the filmic route of understanding the craft. And at times it become quite, I don't know about you two, but you just sat there and you're being told things that you'd not. I've never been told how to set up a picture.
I can agree to an extent, but I think what's useful about a film course sometimes is that you can find influence from other things which aren't necessarily films.
Yeah.
So like in film and philosophy, for example, like you can find influence through like theory,
the academic route fails on, yeah.
Plato's Cave, for instance, you realise how many films are influenced by Plato's Cave and that kind of concept, and you can put so many different things into it. And so for people who don't know what Plato's Cave is, it's basically like a force kind of reality and how we kind of look
perception,
perception of how if you can only see so much. For instance, if you lived in your own room for your entire life, how do you know that everything else that's outside of your room existed? So it's that kind of concept is used so much in film.
Yeah,
and I think there is certain things you can't get from an audio commentary, but at the same time, like you probably can get like I say with Tarantino, how he watched every single film in his video store and then became a filmmaker. It's not necessarily as simple as that, but it's
like
definitely
saying
possible.
It's like saying I read a load of books and I became an author. It doesn't really work like that, does it?
No, there's a very thin line between, like you said, vanity and then going to do. I mean, it just annoys me to the fact that I would love to know the people who've never got. I mean, David Lynch can't get funding for films anymore. They won't fund his films because they're not commercially viable. Kubrick was on the verge of, I mean, who's gonna fund Eyes Wide Shut? Nothing happens in it. But the fact that this man gets funding like from the Weinstein Company. I mean, there's always an audience in it. I mean, like I said again, he takes aspects. I mean, he took Ennio Morricone's scores from Italian films which were never seen by an American audience and incorporated to Kill Bill. I don't know. I don't really like that.
There's that list of shots as well that he always uses. I don't know if you guys have seen
from the trunk cover and stuff like that.
It's like trunk cover, POV, tracking.
Yeah.
He always uses the same shots in every single one of his movies.
I mean, it's interesting you bring that up because I do quite like the Michael Madsen tracking shot, one take of him going into the trunk, then going back into the warehouse to then slice off the police officer's ear. I do like that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's overused now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming back to the point, I think this Tarantino, what I like, takes balls in this film. He takes a lot of like aspects where he could take it safe, but he doesn't. He risks it, and I can just say enough that I appreciate that.
You can say what you want about Tarantino, but you can never take away from the fact that he's fucking confident about his filmmaking.
Oh yeah,
he does what he wants.
Where it's quite arrogant. Yeah. Goes, my films are the best.
He is arrogant, but you've got to respect the fact that he loves his work and he loves what he does.
It just pissed me off that he uses stuff and he doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's like me saying remaking. No, remaking's the wrong thing. It's like me making a student film, screening it in front of our whole class.
Yeah.
And it being using the same aspects from like E.T. and someone going, well, why have you used that? No. That's mine.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
I didn't talk about that. Alien on a Bike.
Yeah.
Original.
I mean, the one thing you see the most at university. I mean, the reason why I don't make films at university, I like to write about films, is purely because you make something here, and there's two people talking in a cafe. I've seen it. Jim Jarmusch did that. Why do I need to watch that? Nobody takes risks anymore because we can't take risks because we've got no budget. We've got no one who'll give us credit for it. So it's an aspect of like. That time's gone now. You can't do what Tarantino did anymore, and I think
there's less envelopes. So there's less like room to be able to do that.
Yeah,
especially with the internet.
Oh god, yeah.
There's so many people making films. There's
a shot of Avengers Assemble shot on iPhone. Where does it stop? Do you know what I mean? But then, I mean, Tarantino, again, I mean, the characters he makes, the writing is fantastic. I mean, I like every character in this film. I like Chris Penn. Steve Buscemi is fantastic. Michael Madsen's got very few lines, but what he does deliver are really powerful and sort of like, they sort of gravitate you to watch the screen. Tim Ross, I think, is really good in it. Harvey Keitel's really good in it. There's a few not hidden, but like good performances with the guy who plays Chris Penn's dad. I forget his name in the film. I think he's quite good in it. I think it's Joe something, but I don't like Tarantino in it.
His character's called Joe.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Joe. Is he called like something Tiernan or something?
I don't know, but I don't like Tarantino's role in it. I think he just...
He's kind of shoehorned in.
He's shoehorned in. That's how I feel about Pulp Fiction as well. He's shoehorned in there.
I like his... I don't mind that in Pulp Fiction, though.
No, but it just seems so forced.
I think once you realise it's him, you're like, oh, God.
And if he wanted to be in his own films, there's a very famous director, Alfred Hitchcock, in every single one of his films. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Even in the slightest little detail. Like, in Rear Window, where's his character in Rear Window, do you know?
No.
He's a piano teacher that this guy looks at through the thing. He's not even. His face isn't even on camera.
I've got an even better one for Dave there. Alfred Hitchcock once made a film called Lifeboat, which is entirely filmed on a lifeboat. Yep. Where is he in that film?
Is he underwater?
No, he's in the newspaper clipping that you can see someone reading through.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That man is, like Dave said, I love that approach because he's not taking away from the screen.
One more. Yeah. Just one more.
Go on.
Round it up.
Tear me up, go on.
There's a film, I can't remember what it's called, but he's in it. It's so hard.
Nice one.
But like, all he does in this film, as a little cameo, he opens a carriage door. That's it.
Oh wow!
That's all he does in
Vertigo. He just walks across like on the port.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood does it quite a few times in Gran Torino. When they first see the church, when his wife died, he walks into the church and stuff.
What do you think of Quentin Tarantino as an actor? Though he's not bad.
Shit.
He's not awful though.
No, but
he's not awful. But I'm not an awful actor.
Yeah.
Al Pacino, when he's on screen, eats up the screen. Ho, like that.
Yeah.
Like Attica, Dog Day Afternoon. He eats it up. He makes himself so powerful on screen, like Christopher Walken does in The Deer Hunter, because he's such a big, large actor. Not obviously in size, but in charisma. Yeah. But Tarantino tries to embody that with nothing, no range.
It's like, the way I see Tarantino in his own films a lot of the time. It's kind of like he's just kind of there as himself, just being like, "Oh, I'm in the film."
The one thing that annoys me,
what I see.
There's one thing that really annoys me, and it's in Pulp Fiction, is when it says Jules. Is there a sign here saying dead, blah blah blah, storage, and he repeats it, and he says it with so much like authority, but he's got no range. He can play one man, and I think
plays himself.
Yeah, I think it's very poor. I don't think it's bad taste. I just think I think it's a little bit. He could have done better than that. I mean, Reservoir Dogs is one thing. Pulp Fiction is another thing.
Pulp Fiction, he's got more speaking.
I mean, the best one is Inglourious Bastards, where someone caps his head off. That's probably the best one he does.
Just 'cause he dies.
Yeah, Django Unchained. I can't even approach that without coming into it like 4-letter words, because that's ridiculous, that scene. You watch that scene and it's Django escaping. It's quite a pivotal scene because if he doesn't, he dies, and if he does, you get on to the next thing. He's doing an Australian accent. Oh my god, it's painful to watch. I mean, I don't like Mr. Blue's character, who's played by, I think the name escapes me. I believe he actually was really ill in production, and then he just disappears from the film.
Yeah,
that's always annoyed me.
That's always annoyed me as well.
I've never really.
They show.
It's funny as well. They show in like the opening credits when they show his name. They show his actor's name. And it's
Edward Bunker.
He's going to be a big part of the film. Literally, the biggest part of him in the film is him having the intro of him being introduced. Like that's it. Like,
I mean, Edward Bunker, like he was a proper gangster of the bunker. I mean, he's got to do with a lot of. He was on a lot of Michael Mann films.
Yeah.
I think his character must have been ill during production or something, because he just changes.
Yeah.
I mean, characters, there's very few, except for obviously the Men in Black.
Who's the guy who plays Joe's son? What is he?
That's Chris Penn.
Yeah, Chris Penn.
Sean Penn's brother.
Always reminds me of Jonah Hill.
No, I think Sean.
I think that's such a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, because I think that Chris Penn, in the few films he was in, he's such a large embodiment of a character. I think he's really good. I mean, like I said, I really do like him in True Romance. I really do like him in Rush Hour. I think he just scene steals. In this, he's probably given a little bit more to do. He shows a bit more of his range. Like you said, though, I think that's just pop culture. It's just culture now, isn't it? How like another actor embodies someone else.
I don't say that as like an insult to him either. I'm saying it just to like it. That I could.
Well, Jonah Hill's not a bad actor.
He's not a bad actor at all, is he? Really?
No,
Moneyball. He's very good at Moneyball.
He's really good in Wolf of Wall Street.
Wall Street's very good.
Looks like he's going to be.
He's got range as well.
Caesar.
Yeah.
We've
yet to see.
He's brought it back, hasn't he? Really, from Superbad.
Yeah. I mean, as well, he's like his kind of weight thing's very odd, because he'll lose loads of weight and then he put it all back on again.
He put it back on for. He's doing a film with Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's about bombings somewhere where the actual man who the security guard who found them out was actually blamed for it in all of the news, and he didn't do it.
I have a lot of respect for him though as an actor, because
Chris Penn or Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, because like he's come from a comedic route, like from Superbad and stuff like
Most
that.
of them do, though.
But then he's stuck with it at the same time, as well as doing like dramatic roles at the same time.
Comedy is the hardest thing to do, because you've got to make them laugh. Yeah. Anyone can act serious. Anyone can cry if you need to. But acting like comedy is a very difficult art form. I know I'm sure on a minute, but Christopher Walken once stated that, why do you do all these comedies? These shit comedies like Balls of Fury. Yeah. Because it's a testament to his skills.
Yeah.
He can go in the jungle for about 2 hours and go mental. But to try be comedy is such a sort of like a stigma of you either make someone laugh or you fall on your ass. Do you know what I mean? It's very strange. Like, so let's say Robert De Niro was in Travis Bickle, in Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
I'll just bring it up because it's one of my favourite films. If he was shit in that role, then he would just be, Robert De Niro, poor performance. Overall, the film's quite good.
Yeah.
In any comedy like Superbad, if the two male leads were poor, the film would be poor because comedy's all this thing about a relentless thing of jokes.
You've got to have a character as well. I think comedy doesn't work if you haven't got characters.
I mean, speaking of comedy, there are a few in between pieces in, like you said, Mr. Brown, Mr. Shit. There's quite a few interesting pieces of comedy throughout Tarantino's filmography. Not as in, the comedy as laughing out loud, but there are a few. Yeah, there's a few quotable. I mean, focus on Reservoir Dogs. I mean, the whole Are you gonna bark all day, dog? Are you gonna bite? I love that sort of. It's a really good sort of like intention of what's gonna happen.
It sums up his character as well. Like, he doesn't really say anything up until that point, but you know instantly what he's like as a character.
I don't like the flashback sequence of him joining the ranks with Chris Penn.
I don't think they're necessarily needed.
I don't think it just takes me away all the time. Are there any certain scenes you love the most? Except for let's drop the iconic scene of the cutting the ear, because everybody knows.
I love that scene.
I don't think the cutting the ear scene is even my favourite scene in the film, personally.
That's definitely my favourite scene.
I don't think it's my favourite. I like it when they're all getting introduced to each other and the whole knowing because you're Mr. Pink, you're Mr. Orange, Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue.
Yeah.
I love that authority where Harvey Keitel's just sat there and you all know these people they've done some bad things or they've made some bad things, but they don't mean shit to anyone there. They're all just a piece of meat. And I love how the dynamics is that everyone just takes it and we know that something big's going to happen.
They don't just take it.
Well,
They fight back, don't
Steve
they?
Buscemi fights back,
Steve
Buscemi fights back, but then he instantly gets shot down again. He's like,
he keeps talking.
Adds character though. It keeps dynamic.
It's brilliant. That's what I like about it. Yeah.
The one scene I don't like when Steve Buscemi shoots that woman. That just like again, I like Buscemi. In that scene, does he have to do it? Does he really mean to do it? I don't know. Does it add anything to his character? Not really. I mean, the final standoff shootout sequence where they're all around like that. How many times has that been done before that film? It's so shoehorned and cliche in that film.
I think one of the scenes I hate the most is Steve Buscemi's exit, where they don't even show it. He just walks out the door, doesn't he? And all you hear is
that.
Bang bang. I don't like that.
Well, it's questionable if he actually does get shot because in the script he doesn't. In the script he doesn't.
Well, no, but on screen he does. Surely.
No, he doesn't. He cuts to black before, and we don't know for certain if he does die.
I think Steve Buscemi's character is my favourite character in the film.
He's such a scumbag. I love Steve Buscemi, but he's such a scumbag in that film.
Yeah, he is.
I think my favourite character is probably Tim Roth.
I would agree. I think Tim Roth.
Or Harvey Keitel.
I think their dynamic is probably the strongest out of
I think they're the two main characters, aren't they, really? Mr. Pink and Mr.
I didn't
White.
mind Harvey Keitel, but like I said at the start, I wasn't completely sold on his character because I wasn't completely sold on why
Tim
he was...
Roth?
Sorry?
Is this Tim Roth?
No, Harvey Keitel.
I wasn't completely sold on his character because I wasn't completely sold on how loyal he was to Tim Roth being clean.
He was loyal though, wasn't he?
I mean, like Dave said,
that's what I'm saying, but I don't understand why he had to be.
You can guess who the rat is. Another scene as well when there's an orange balloon that goes up when someone mentions that there's a rat in the thing. Like,
I didn't feel like he had a reason though at the end to be like defending him as much as he was.
Yeah, no, but I think because Harvey Keitel was like his man was on death's door. Like I think he bonded with him, and that's the.
He says that as well because at the start when you think about it at the start he goes like when he's just been shot. He's like, well, let's just get out of here and stuff. He's like, I can't just leave him. And then that guy leaves or something like that. And they spend quite a lot of time together, don't they?
Yeah.
And like he just said, I can't just leave him to die. And so they do bond over it. And at the end, where he's like, when someone dies in your arms, he was saying like, when someone dies in your arms, you can't just sell them out or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's willing to get shot for it, and that brings it up to the ending, doesn't it? Where he finds out he is a rat, and he's got a gun to his like thing, and they do end up. He does kill him, doesn't he?
Like,
no. Tim Roth dies of the gunshot wounds, but he does shoot Michael Madsen's character, and that's why when the group come in, they question it all.
No, I'm pretty sure that Harvey Keitel's character actually kills Tim Roth's character.
No, he doesn't.
I'm pretty sure he does, bro.
How much do you want to put money on it?
He has the gun to his head. Like,
no.
I'll put £1 on it.
Right, I'll tell you what, right? I'll do a deal, right? If I'm wrong, I'll give you the £1. If I'm wrong, right, I'll give you the £1, and I'll blah 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 whatever. if I'm right, you've got to give me £1. All right.
Well, that is part of the
No,
deal.
because I was going to ask about the cinema ticket, but it was a tenner. I don't want
exactly.
to be an arsewine.
Oh, okay, one sec. Transition break. Right, so we've looked at the scene. I win.
Well, it's questionable.
Questionable.
I don't know about that,
I think we'd like the Twitter audience to justify whether that's...
Tweet at us.
the
And
only
I
reason-
will buy a cornetto with that £1 that you gave me.
The only reason why I think he shoots at the end is in case when the police come through or blah, blah, blah. I mean, it doesn't even end like that. It ends with Steve Buscemi going through the door.
No, that's not how it ends. It ends with literally...
This is another quid
Harvey.
bet.
No. It ends with Harvey Keitel's face, and he shoots him, and then there's a lot of gunshots, and then he falls to the floor, and then it's black screen. We just watched it.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I don't know.
Steve Buscemi leaves after the big Mexican standoff, and then Harvey Keitel's character crawls over to Tim Roth's character.
Yeah. Gets in his arms, and he's like, I'm a cop.
He's like, but I am the rat. And he's like, no, my buddy. Now I have to kill you.
Well, if you're right. I mean, I owe you £1.
Yeah, you do. Anyway, should we move on to the positives?
Yeah.
Jack, you've basically ripped into this film, the director.
I
I think we've all sort of agreed with you, though. We've made some good points. But let's hear what you liked about the film.
What do I like? I like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think that's something that's constant throughout Tarantino's films.
I'm not joking. I found it really difficult to find.
I think the soundtrack's good. Soundtrack's solid.
I like the acting in it. I think the acting's really stellar.
I think it's got a really good cast.
I think it's got a good cast.
I think you'd have to be incorrect to say it's not a good film.
I don't think it's a great film.
Yeah, but Rob said good film.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Which is
To
a
be
good
fair,
rating.
it's pretty good for you.
3.5.
I can't remember what you gave. You said the other day to me you gave something a 9 out of 10, and I completely disagreed with you.
Oh, what was this? It's intrigued me now.
I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Was it Predator?
It wasn't Predator.
Either way,
I'm going to say something absurd.
7 out of 10 isn't a bad score, really.
I was going to say that I don't know if Predator's a better film. They're different films. There's bear in mind, one's filmmaking and one's something else. The filmmaking factor of this is a good film. It hasn't. I don't know what it's got going for it. I don't know how it stayed relevant these years.
I think it's a bit long as well.
It's only an hour and 39 minutes.
Is it?
There is things they can cut out, though. I think
It's like barely 90 minutes.
I think one thing...
It's still could have been shorter.
Like you say, though, I think they could have taken out some of the flashbacks.
No.
Like flashbacks with like him and as in Mr. Blonde.
Yeah.
Those flashbacks don't necessarily needed.
I think there's a lot of flashbacks you take out, but I think he's going for a Hong Kong thriller, and that's what Hong Kong cinema does.
Split up the tension quite a bit too much for me in some places, and yeah, I think I agree with you with the fact that Tarantino is a better scriptwriter than he is a filmmaker.
This is one of the first films we've done as well where there hasn't been a sole protagonist.
Yeah, it's a stellar cast. I mean, I don't...
Yeah.
Top rated movies 75? No. I don't think it has got that. I mean, the dialogue's really witty, and it's a very good
That's the only
script.
thing it has going for
The
it,
budget
really.
is 1.2 million.
How much did it make?
Just surprising for the
22
cast.
million worldwide.
Interesting.
Gummo, the Harmy Corrine film, is a budget of $1,000 more, $100,000 more.
Nuts.
Yeah, and this is a superior film to that.
Well, yeah.
It's been remade quite a few times.
Reservoir Cats, like I said.
Yeah, it's been made as a Bollywood feature.
Bollywood, fantastic cinema.
I've rated his films quite highly, and I do like his filmmaking ability, but I'm going to re-rate this as a 7 on my personal
What is it at the
IMDb
minute?
account. It's an 8.
I've got it as an 8. I used to have it as
8.4 out of 10.
I used to have it as a 9.
Joke.
Oh,
Why?
Used to have it as a 9.
How can you put it as a 9?
Right, I'll get into this because the first thing I
really
said to you
pisses me
about
off.
first thing I said to you about Reservoir Dogs
I'm
when I saw
calm. I'm calm.
today. First thing I said to you about it when I came here was because I'd seen it twice beforehand and I really enjoyed it. I wasn't quite sure about it the first time because I was younger. I didn't really appreciate it as much as I could have done. Then second time I watched it, I thought the script was really tight and really, really good. I really enjoyed it and gave it a 9. And then I watched it today and then put it down to an 8 and didn't like it quite as much. I didn't think it was as rewatchable as other Tarantino films. I think that while there was definitely like things in there which are quotable, it's nowhere near as quotable as Pulp Fiction, for instance.
I'd like to go back to...
films.
We were talking earlier, didn't you say that you preferred this film to Pulp Fiction?
No, that was him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Which I think I'm going to stand out as ludicrous. Pulp
It's
Fiction
ludicrous,
is a far
yeah.
superior film.
I haven't said that on the podcast.
But
You're saying I've said that.
You
in
have
the past.
said that.
You said that to me.
You have stated
You
that.
said
That was
in
when
the
I
past. That was about 20 minutes ago, mate.
No, that wasn't.
I agree.
No, I didn't say it 20 minutes ago. I
concur.
did not say it 20 minutes ago, and I'd like
40
you to
then.
find.
You still said it.
I'd like you to find proof about that because it's not true.
We don't record every conversation we have, mate. We're not
Exactly. So it's gone. It's not.
I just want to.
Either way.
I mean, to get off that point, because I know you're threatening cold water there. I think that for a director for a directional debut, it gets better, filmmaking wise, technical wise. You get better filmmakers. I don't think Tarantino's. I don't think he has. I think
think he's got better?
No, I think he's stayed the same. I think
he stagnated and kind of.
Oh god,
drifted
yeah.
a bit.
I mean, he's been offered. I mean, he was offered Men in Black.
God.
I mean, ugh. That'd have been a very strange film to watch. I just think that if you look at David Lynch, Eraserhead, I mean, David Lynch is very similar director. Has David Lynch really got better as a filmmaker? I would disagree. I think if you start off strong, you've got to maintain that.
He's gone off into different places, isn't he?
Mulholland Drive's a really good film. Blue Velvet's an extraordinary good film. I mean, Kubrick got better. Paul Thomas Anderson, Boogie Nights, Master, Inherent Vice, he got better. Martin Scorsese got better.
Would you say Paul Thomas Anderson got better necessarily?
Yeah, The Master is an astonishing piece of filmmaking.
But would you say that his films of like Boogie Nights and Punch Drunk Love, they're his best films?
No, I think Boogie Nights is a really good film. I think Punch Drunk Love is a good film, and I think it's one of his best. I really do. I have a very good place in my heart for that. But I think The Master of how he got Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman to act at that ability is fascinating. I think Inherent Vice, I don't know. I've seen it. It's a little bit difficult to watch at times because it's ludicrous, let's just say the least.
I think personally, for me, with Paul Thomas Anderson, I think it's difficult to say that he's got better or worse because he's always been an amazing filmmaker.
Yeah. I know. I think obviously if you look at academic, you've got to say that Punch Drunk Love is the worst one. But it's not even when someone says it's his worst one. It's not even a bad film. It's still stellar.
Worst one as in there's less to read into it.
If I ever got to meet the man and I said Punch Drunk Love is probably your least it's probably your worst film.
It's probably my favourite.
I'd probably say it's still my favourite. Yeah. Because that's how good of a director he is. If he can make a comedy with Adam Sandler and it'd be good, Jesus Christ! Mm-hmm. And I think overall, Philip Seymour Hoffman's really good in them scenes.
Have you seen the short he did called Couch with Adam Sandler?
No, but I've seen this short film that inspired Boogie Nights, which he made at like 20, which is really good. I wouldn't
say that Couch was brilliant. Basically, it was
how much can you get forward? Have you ever seen a really good short film with character?
Yeah, but saying this, literally, I'll explain what the short film's about. Adam Sandler goes into a furniture store and sits on different bits of furniture. Yeah. It's all black and white and it's basically silent. All like when he sits on bits of furniture, it'll make like fart noises.
Yeah,
and that's the entire film.
I like that.
Adam Sandler.
That's Paul Thomas Anderson filmmaking that.
Yeah, but Paul Thomas Anderson loves Adam Sandler comedies.
Okay.
I've heard Paul Thomas Anderson argue, just like I have about Reservoir Dogs, about Adam Sandler being one of the best actors of his generation.
He's good.
And I will say this. Adam Sandler is not a good actor. He's not great. He's good. He's stellar in some
underrated.
Films. He's underrated, but he's not amazing. But he has the facial expressions of a Buster Keaton. He has that thing where he can speak a lot with his face.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of his points, that he doesn't sort of exercise the right to use that a lot. I mean, going back to, I don't ever like to shift the conversation back, but going back to Reservoir Dogs.
Before we go back to Reservoir Dogs, I'd like to say something about Adam Sandler films. You said that Adam Sandler is. Who said it? You said Adam Sandler's a good actor, didn't you, Rob?
I said he's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of how I describe watching an Adam Sandler. His recent films more sort of the grown-ups, the
Ridiculous Six shit.
I haven't actually seen that, or Pixels.
Don't put on it.
But I only sort of watch those kind of films like when I'm like laying on my sofa, like hungover, and I just want to watch something.
God.
It's not something that you would watch. I don't think I've ever been to the cinema to watch an Adam Sandler film.
And I never would do.
The way I look at Adam Sandler as a filmmaker, his kind of film projects now, he makes films because he enjoys going out into different locations with his mates and just making movies. Like, you see, that's basically how it goes.
That's what a lot of people can't understand about older generation of actors.
Yeah,
like a lot of people complain about Bobby De Niro and Al Pacino, because I know Robert De Niro, let me just he allows me to call him Bob. They make these films that no one's ever heard of, these shit films, because they've done so much. They want to try exercise the rights to act. I mean, Al Pacino in Jack and Jill, no, he plays himself in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Whoever thought that the man who played Travis Bickle would then play Dirty Grandpa next to Zac Efron? You would never be able to see that film.
I hate what they've done to it.
But I mean, you can't. Paul Thomas Anderson said that, and Russell Crowe said Robert De Niro have let them down in the past because you've got this great actor making shit. But they've both come up with the same sort of analogy that you can't stop an actor wanting to work.
The thing is, as well, I honestly admire Adam Sandler for what he does, because he's obviously as an actor he can play it very. He's honestly, like with his role in Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
You know he can act, but he doesn't. He chooses to do his own projects because he just enjoys it. He doesn't.
Let's not forget though, Rob. He is the king of home video. He makes more money on sales of profit on video on demand. Happy Gilmore made him more money than he did in 10 years on DVD sales.
So he has no reason to act when he's making money. And
don't you think that's interesting? Then, well, a little bit backstory on Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's contract with Sony Pictures, who he made Grown Ups with, who he made quite a few films like The Longest Yard. He's a big hit for Sony. His contract ended just when the scandal of the email started with Sony. And he signed with Netflix. That's what he's got with his Netflix sort of stuff now.
6, yeah.
And is that a parody of the Hateful Eight?
No, it's the.
It's just
the Ridiculous Six. I saw it like the same time the Hateful Eight.
All the westerns like the Wild Bunch, the Magnificent Seven.
Is that what these?
Yeah,
that's why Tarantino has done that. So you've just put my point about him taking liberty with everyone else, which is an interesting point to go back onto, because what Tarantino did next in his filmography was make probably one of the best films ever made is Pulp Fiction. And you can see with Reservoir Dogs that it's a showcase of ability. And then you look at Pulp Fiction and the ability there is astonishing. I think directors now, Spielberg could never make that film. Scorsese could have a go at it. Paul Thomas Anderson could probably make the closest adaptation of that film with, let's say, The Master or something like that.
Yeah.
Inherent Vice about... no one else could get close to that. Spike Lee, Sidney Lumet, who we'll probably look at in the future as a great director, he couldn't get close to that. So I think you give the plaudits where plaudits are due, and then again, that's down to script. I've run out of things to say about him, because if I did, I'd just start swearing. I don't like the
thing is with Tarantino, though, like, you know how we were saying earlier about how he says all those films are in the same universe. To me, that's a bad thing almost. Isn't it?
That's what we would. That's what we were arguing.
It's a bad thing. Not only that it makes him look arrogant and egotistical, but it also makes you realise how, like, his films are all set in the same universe and they're not different from each other, really.
They're all the same, yeah. So, like, when you said earlier that he was offered Men in Black, could you imagine Men in Black in that universe? It'd be shit, because it would the rest of his films would be ludicrously poor, because you'd say that. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go on to a rant here, but I don't want to.
No, I'll just say this again. Like, the Tarantino thing is that, look, name the biggest directors in Hollywood. You've got Spielberg and you've got Scorsese,
James Cameron.
Yeah, and James Cameron, right? When you watch one of their films, can you disassociate the fact that the director is involved with that? With James Cameron, you can't. With Avatar, you can't, because it's James Cameron's Avatar.
I still haven't got through Avatar.
Well, it's shit. It's Pocahontas with the CGI. Yeah. Scorsese, you can do to a degree. You can watch Wolf of Wall Street and not know it's Scorsese.
Yeah. Hugo.
Yeah, Hugo as well. With Spielberg, I think it's a very thin line, because Lincoln is just Spielberg all over. And then you look at stuff like Bridge of Spies, where Bridge of Spies speaks itself. With Tarantino, you've never got a film that he hasn't come under with.
It's never separated.
It's never separated, and that's his downfall. Yes, it builds all this buzz about him being a director, and this is my film, it's my legacy. But no. The worst film he's ever made was Death Proof, and he disowns the film. Why? You made it with one of your best friends, Robert Rodriguez, in a grindhouse feature to showcase that cinema has changed. It's a really good depiction of a time and place in cinema in the 70s, which are then reorganised and put forward in 06-07. Robert Rodriguez made Planet Terror. Why disown it? Because there's an actors guild where they get directors around and they all get them interviewed. It's a really good thing. I think it's by Variety. It's really interesting, because the year Tarantino was on for Django was when Ben Affleck was for Argo, so it's 2012. David O. Russell was there for Silver Linings Playbook. Gus Van Sant was there. Ang Lee was there for Life of Pi. All these directors, Tarantino was like, I don't want to make films anymore. Everyone was like, why? He said, well, because if I made another film, it'd be 10 hours long. I'll have to go to television. I don't want to go down television. And then you've got Ben Affleck, quite new to the director. He's only made, that's probably his third feature with Argo. After Gone Baby Gone, The Town, really good director. The Town is one of my favourite films of his filmography.
Do you like Town?
And then you've got Ang Lee, who's made an extraordinary amount of pictures. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Brokeback Mountain. And then you've got a man in the corner going, I don't like David Russell, so we'll talk about him. He's another prick. So I'll talk about Tarantino. I mean, you've got Tarantino talking about, why do you choose to film on celluloid rather than digital? Well, why would I not? It's like, you've got to understand that there's a time where you can't be nostalgic about it. Time moves on. He says he'll never make a film of digital filmmaking. Well, you made one in Sin City for Robert Rodriguez, so he just backtracks himself. I mean, the guy's full of stuff where he says stuff. I mean, he said that he was an actor in Dawn of the Dead in the original George Romero one. No, he wasn't.
Might have been an extra.
He wasn't. He said it to lie on his CV. The man's a very thin line between honesty and then taking things of others. I mean, that conversation alone is when he said that is a prime example of him taking things that are not his and saying it is. I mean, I'd like to conclude because this
feels like it's sort of an open letter to Quentin Tarantino.
I don't not like him. I think he's an incredible director. I mean, his filmmaking skills are so good.
I think personally, I think his filmmaking skills is what sometimes holds him back, and he's so arrogant.
I disagree.
Let me finish. And he's so arrogant about about his filmmaking, and it grounds it in that every film he makes just relates back to him, and it never separates himself from him, and that kind of holds him back because it doesn't let him tell a story which could be its own story.
It comes back with the bit cameo parts. You can never disassociate himself. I mean, I like the guy, the filmmaker. I don't like the guy who made Django because then he puts on accents and he tries to appropriate the N-word in films. Spike Lee has a big shout against him. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but Tarantino did rewrites for the Tony Scott film Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington starred in that film, and the day that Tarantino came on set, he went up to Tarantino in front of all the crew and brought him down a peg and said, why do you have to use the N-word in Jackie Brown? And Jackie Brown at the time, was big for using the N-word. Spike Lee disassociated itself with Tarantino. Denzel Washington said he wouldn't work with him again, which I think he sort of apologised for now. But anyway, the story is that he dressed him down and said, well, I've got this, and Tarantino couldn't argue with him. Couldn't argue with him. And I think that's a probably well end. I mean, is overall, I mean, in my opinion, I'm trying to not talk about the man rather than the film, but it's difficult because, like you said, you can't disassociate him.
It's difficult, isn't it? Really, especially like it's difficult. It's difficult.
I'd have the same argument with Pulp Fiction. I'd have the same argument with Django. I think his one true blessing is probably Inglourious Bastards. But then again,
you only like that because he gets his head cut off.
No, I really like it. I love Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, so do I.
I think what Tarantino needs to do, and I think he's already done it, is make a film where his root lies, where his passion lies. And that's A Hateful Eight with a Western. And then he should never have made Django. He should have just made Hateful Eight. And hopefully he'll make a 1930s gangster film like Sergio Leone made, or Francis Ford Coppola, and he will make a film, and it will be an extraordinary piece of his own imaginative cinema. I'm going to end there.
Big criticism of Hateful Eight, though, is that he hasn't got a script editor. His script editor from his previous films is gone. And the people argued that a lot of his script could have gone from.
I mean, the guy gets performance out of him. I don't know if anyone's seen The Hateful Eight, but Tim Roth is amazing in that film.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, he gets performance. He's good. I mean, Dave, short pick. I think you should end it. Overall, I've said what I need to say in the whole hour and 4 minutes of this podcast.
Personally, I really enjoyed it. Though. I enjoyed the film.
I can do it, but I wouldn't applaud it.
I wouldn't say there was much rewatchability with the film. I think you can watch it once in every couple of years. I couldn't watch.
Yeah, I'd agree.
We were saying with Predator last week, saying that we could watch Predator and then watch it again, like next week, and you can watch it from any point. I know you don't like it, but I think when it comes to Reservoir Dogs, it's just so I think it's good in some elements, but I think
it's good in a sense that you can if you do rewatch it, you rewatch it because you've forgotten elements of it.
I'm just going to blow both your minds now.
You probably won't.
I can watch this quite a few days a week.
I'm fucking done with it. I'm done.
I honestly,
That is the biggest contradiction I've ever heard.
It's an hour of sort of you moaning about the whole
I don't
thing.
like him. I don't. But I think
And now suddenly you're there like, I can watch this.
But the reason why I can watch it is because he brings loads of cinema that I like. I love Hong Kong thrillers. I love the Internal Affairs series. I love Bruce Lee's sort of kung fu films with Kill Bill. I love the fact that he brings... I don't love the fact, sorry, I'll read that. I enjoy the fact that he brings all this international cinema into a film, and it works.
Yeah.
Do I like how he does it? Do I like why he does it? No. But I think that's my taste. I could watch this film quite a few days a week.
What I'll say about the film personally is I like the film, but I don't think it's a masterpiece.
I agree.
100% agree, yeah.
Is it your favourite film you've seen so far, then?
No.
Out of the three?
No. Predator.
So you'd still go Predator?
Yeah.
Out of the three, which is the better filmmaking then?
Big Lebowski.
I think Reservoir Dogs is the better filmmaker.
Better filmmaking is Reservoir Dogs.
Big Lebowski.
Really?
I think.
How would you say that though?
I think I prefer the way the characters are written. I think for me personally, I think the characters and the script is tighter in Reservoir Dogs. And I think there's less influence taken from other things, and Big Lebowski is more of its own thing.
I mean, surprisingly, I don't know how people would see this, but I think Reservoir Dogs and Big Lebowski are not too far from each other in the fact that the filmmakers and the writing ability of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I think with the Coen Brothers, you can separate them from the film.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at a series, man. I mean, they didn't know. People didn't know it's a Coen Brothers film. Lady Killers, you guys didn't even know they did that.
That's the thing. I think Coen Brothers as filmmakers, they've got a wider range, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening to Jack's rant.
Open
letter to Quentin Tarantino.
I would just like to apologise. I don't want it to be a rant, but the thing is, a lot of people need to be.
You're ranting again now.
Quentin, we're calling you out.
A lot of people. No, I'm not. I do. He's a good filmmaker.
Should we get you two in a boxing ring?
I just think he should. People need to be educated on what Tarantino really is, rather than the masterpiece filmmaker than he is. He'll never win Best Director. I don't think, and I'll put that forward. I don't think he will.
You're gonna bet pound.
So this is our calling to Quentin Jack.
No, it's
officially
not. It's
challenging Quentin Tarantino to a mixed martial arts fight.
I love how the fact you said that people need to be educated on Quentin Tarantino. Jack's now running masterclasses of why he hates it. 9 p.m. In Falmouth. Make sure you come down.
DM Lecture B.
I mean, if you disagree with me, please, I'd like message the YouTube, comment on the YouTube video, tweet us, quote, retweet us,
send hate mail to Jack.
I mean, because some people out there will.
Hashtag never trust Jack.
No, seriously. But if someone has a disagreement with me, I will totally understand your opinion, because I can see
he's going to rip into you.
I'm not. I can understand why people like him.
For God's sake, don't mention The Matrix.
Oh, if you do that, I'll
Jack fucking hates me.
Yeah, I think Matrix trilogies are one of the finest trilogies ever made.
He's going back into another run.
Anyway,
thanks for watching. As of next week,
I'm going to go and calm down and have a beer.
He's going to go have a cold shower and cry. We are as of next week. As of next week, I'm trying to get through this, alright?
Yeah,
try to get me to do the announcements. As of next week, we are... shut up!
Okay, sorry,
as of next week, we're on Easter holiday, so we've pre-recorded some podcasts. They will be coming out next week. That's why there is no polls, but in about 3 weeks' time, there will be another poll. Yeah. We haven't decided on the theme, if there will be one, but that's about it. We've got... the next week's coming out is Ghost World.
If there's any dodgy kind of stuff in that's because we recorded it before we recorded this one, just so people are sure.
Yeah. So, we didn't know whether to clarify this because I felt it wasn't needed, but I think we like this, and we've recorded 3 of them. There will be an announcement that I will make now. I don't know if you two know. Batman vs Superman, the Zack Snyder comic book film, is going to be released on Friday night. So you're listening to this on the next week's Wednesday. Yeah. We are going to a midnight screening of it on the Thursday night. So we will be reviewing that if anyone wants to read that. I do think it will be a spoiler review as well. Yes, we could probably do it from maybe we do it as like a separate kind of thing. Maybe it might even come out before this podcast potentially. It will come out before this podcast. Yeah, it'll come out probably on Monday. So I do apologise if it's a spoiler review. It's just it's going to be very difficult to review that. There will be, of course. I will put in a title spoilers, so you don't. Yeah. So don't worry about that. Just to clarify, thanks for listening to the to the YouTube again. Please listen to the YouTube. I think it's time we get some feedback because we're 3 episodes in now. I don't know if we're doing this right. I mean, we're all new to it. Is there anyone out there? No. My mum just... My mum and dad watch it. Well, we keep getting I can't remember how many views we've got. 35 or something, the first one. My mum just refreshed that 35 times. Really? Yeah. Well,
It's a true story.
My dad really likes it. If the volume's not right, please just talk to us back about it.
He's so desperate to someone for fight him about Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
In the
Please,
back.
I am.
it's me.
I mean, it's a good debate.
I've made fake accounts and just started tweeting at him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea.
Thanks. That'll help me with the police now.
Yeah.
After that.
You get your tag off soon.
Remember,
So,
Moldypot at Moldypot on Twitter, at Demonette1,
Yeah,
at
follow
Jack
me.
Luke Sharp.
all in the description. Let's wrap it up.
Follow
Good
me.
podcast.
I'm your mate Dave. Follow me. Cheers.
Okay, see you next week.
Thanks for
Bye.
listening. Jack hates Quentin. Bye.
Tarantino.